I was shopping in the 3X section, Carl, and I said, no, ma'am, I'm not going to do this. And then I met my partner, Carmen, and she believed in me more than I believed in myself at that time and gave me the roadmap, gave me the tools, gave me the BODi platform. And it was an amazing journey that I'm still on. You are a lot stronger than you think. For a year, do this program 100%. And that's what I did.
Hi, and welcome to the BODi Experience. I'm Carl Deichler, CEO of BODi, and this episode is for the former athletes out there who saw that body that was once strong and competitive sort of evolve and change over adulthood to the point that you no longer know quite what to do. I've been there. Not that I was a good athlete or anything, but all of a sudden I hit my 20s, hit my 30s, and it just wasn't the same. Now I'm 60. Interesting to note, I'm in the best shape of my life. And it's because of the lifestyle that I have achieved with BODi, with our nutrition plans, our fitness plans, and our supplements and Shakeology, and also the incredible community that shares so liberally with us to help people stay inspired and help us get tips on how to stay consistent with this hard thing called healthy lifestyle. So today's guest is Aisha Felder, who lost 110 pounds in 10 months. That's an average of 11 pounds a month. Let's bring her on. Aisha, amazing job. You seriously, take a bow. You deserve it. That is absolutely amazing. And, let's start there. How did you lose an average of 11 pounds a month for 10 months straight?
You know what's funny, Carl? And hello, and thank you so much for having me on. I think, when I think about this journey, it didn't start that way. The way the journey started was, I just need to lose 20 pounds. If I can only lose 20 pounds, then I would be okay. I just wanted to lose 20 pounds. I was unsuccessful losing the 20 pounds. And then I met my partner, Carmen. And she believed in me more than I believed in myself at that time and gave me the roadmap, gave me the tools, gave me the BODi platform. And it was an amazing journey that I'm still on. And so I'm thankful to be able to achieve that journey. But I did not start out thinking that I was going to lose all that weight in 10 pounds. I mean,
but still, you had to have obstacles. So let's start there. What motivated you to even get started?
What motivated me to get started was it was feeling like my life was just kind of unraveling. I had moved to a new city just after COVID, like during COVID. And so new city, I'm a marketing executive, busy, new city, new industry. I had a lot to learn. I have 2 little kids and I just wasn't able to balance life anymore. Those 20 pounds kept coming and they kept going, but I didn't have a true platform on how to really lose it. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I know how to lose 20 pounds. I know how to lose 20 pounds, but I also know how to gain it back. So, going to the doctor and having the doctor tell me I was pre-diabetic hurt my feelings. So I'm like, I was going to a boot camp 3 times a week. I'm thinking that I'm eating healthy, but the truth is in the pudding, and I wasn't achieving the goals. And now the doctor's telling me that my numbers are going to be tragic.
Let's not skip over that. Did you see that coming? I mean, you saw the weight change and it was catching up to you, but did you expect to hear that you were pre-diabetic in your doctor appointment?
No, because since I was a college athlete. So when I left college, I gained 4 pounds a year for 20 years. When you think about it, was just slow and steady. I was gaining that weight. And then, my sizes were creeping. 12, 14, 1. And I remember I was trying to go somewhere. I had a conference I had to go to, and I was shopping in the 3X section, Carl. And I said, no, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am, I'm not going to do this. So my friend introduced me to my partner, my BODi partner, and and she just laid it out for me. But it was the difference with this program was that it was a no excuses, like working out 6 days a week, following this plan 100%, drinking your water, and really tracking your weight. It was more focused than I've ever had to do in any of the programs that I've tried.
Well, let's look at that. You must have, when you got this news from your doctor, you hadn't discovered BODi yet, right? Did you try anything else? Have you, in all that time, it's creeping up on you? Did you try anything else that just didn't work?
Oh yeah, I tried. You don't want to know everything. I tried keto. I tried, oh my gosh, wait, what? Lots of different programs. I literally tried everything. I tried the injections. I was early with the injections. And the one problem that I had with the injections, as busy mom, I was trying to, in the morning, I'm rushing, trying to get them together. And I needed to take that shot. And I took it in front of my kids. And my kids were like, what is that? And from that point on, I was like, I don't want to live my life this way. And I don't want to have to explain to them why this is happening. And so and then shortly after that, I discovered BODi.
And which program got you started, and why did it work for you?
So I just, the one thing was, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm starting another program. I was a little depressed. I was like, I've done everything. Nothing has worked for me. I've done everything. Why is this going to work? So I started with a 21-day fix. It was all these programs. I didn't have time to figure it out. I said, forget it. I'm going to go with 21-day fix. It's probably going to be easy because I'm a past athlete. So I got a little bit of an ego, right? I started doing auto calabrese and we did surrenders. I'll never forget. We had to do the surrenders up and down. Oh my goodness. It was so hard, but she was so encouraging. I used a modifier. She had the whole portion fix meal plan down pat. It was so easy. What I loved about the meal plan, I'll never forget, I was talking about my body partner, and I'm like, I guess I'll start eating chicken and broccoli again. And she was like, well, why do you want to eat chicken and broccoli? I'm like, that's what I always eat when I'm trying to lose weight. I eat chicken and broccoli. She's like, go on that list, find food you like, and you eat that. And that has been my motto going forward. I only eat food that I like.
We hear so much about people who are like afraid to engage in life and do things that they don't because they don't feel good in their own skin. Like, hey, let me take that picture for you guys instead of, hey, let me get in that picture with you guys. Since you lost all this weight, what's changed for you?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things have changed. The change happened in my mind. Just how I experience food, understanding my triggers. Work, tremendous trigger for me. Having a long day at work, I would come home and I would just help fix a kid something to eat, and I'm drinking wine and eating their mac and cheese. I didn't have time. I didn't plan. So one thing I learned is number one is putting yourself first. I tell my clients this. I tell all my friends that, a lot of people ask me for my advice, and I'm very respectful when they ask me. The one thing I say is, women, we got to learn how to put ourselves first. We don't know what that means because we're so used to putting work first, our husbands first, our children first. You have to put you first. And a lot of people don't even know what that means. Define what that means. What that means to me was, I knew I had to work out at 5 a.m. That was the only time I had to work out. I taught my kids. I have 2 children, 2 beautiful girls, Dahlia and Anissa, 7 and 9. I taught them how to make breakfast. I taught them how to make cereal in the morning, how to make oatmeal, but don't disturb mommy unless it's an emergency during that time. And I learned more ways of putting me first, because when I put me first, putting me first used to mean going to get sushi and wine. That's chicken wings. Okay, Carl, that was putting me first. Long day. Well, I deserve it. But now putting me first is packing my food for the day, right? And saying no. So if I'm going out to eat for drinks, I may just get sparkling water. It's not alive. And I may just eat a salad. I'll save my salad. Putting me first means that before I leave my house, I know what I'm eating for the whole day is packed with me. Putting me first means that I may be late to a 9:00 meeting. I went back home to grab my shake. I prepped my shake before I go. I went back home, had a 9:00 meeting. I grabbed my shake and I called him from the car. Nothing happened, but I learned how to put me first.
That's awesome. Okay. So now I want you to set a scene for me, or help me compare 2 situations.
Okay.
You mentioned the doctor's appointment where you learned that you were pre-diabetic, and that sounded pretty heartbreaking the way you described it in your notes. Compare that to, was there an appointment or a moment where your doctor saw your changes and your diagnosis changed?
How many times does your doctor hug you? It's a little uncomfortable hug, and it doesn't happen very often. I tell you, when I went back into my doctor's appointment 10 months later, he hugged me, and he was so proud of me, and he was so excited for me because he knew he would always talk about how as Americans, because he's a Nigerian doctor, how we are addicted to food. We have a food addiction because of the stuff that's in our food. And so he's like, telling me a lot. That's why he gave me all kind of medicines to help me, with the food addiction. It's a little uncomfortable talking about, but I had a food addiction. And so he was just so excited. He loved the BODi program. He thought it was amazing. He wanted to tell more of his clients about it. So just that transformation in and of itself really was exciting for him.
And was any of that specific to type 2 diabetes or just in general?
Oh, I'm not even at risk anymore. I mean, it was, I'm not at risk anymore. All my numbers are amazing. I did life insurance a week ago, and my numbers are so good, but my rates went down. So it's more than just and that's what I had to learn. That's the other thing you asked me when I learned. It's more than a number on scale. Because Carl, when I started losing the weight and seeing numbers I hadn't seen since high school, I was like, oh yeah, I am hitting this number. And so when I got to the number, it was great, but it was like, hey, there's more to life than just that number. And so for me, it was understanding that it's a whole lifestyle. It's just not wrapped up in a specific number. But that was really important.
And when you were doing this, did you run the protocols like Portion Fix and Shakeology and the fitness program? Did you run that by your doctor to get any specific advice that is this going to help me with my prediabetes?
He was unaware of the program. So for him, his recommendations were just around medicine. So, but, he gave me a diet. He talked about exercise. I think that as a doctor, they can only do so much. What makes BODi unique is that BODi knows what you need to do to get the results. Not only do you have an amazing meal plan or two to choose from, you have recipes. So for me, I fell in love with the foods that I normally love. So somebody like me, I love ramen. Guess what? There's a ramen recipe on there. I love ahi tuna. Guess what? There's an ahi tuna recipe. So not only that, and then I love to work out. Being a past athlete, I love a good workout. That's why I tried so many different trainers, because I was having fun working out. So he didn't guide and direct me, but the formula was get the right diet plan and you're going to have to work out. But without the accountability group, it made it really hard to stick to it.
Mm. So what was it like the day you got on that scale and you looked down and realized that you had literally lost over 100 pounds?
It didn't feel that big because I had been doing it in increments, right? So, but when I finally got to that number, I remember the term I used. I did a Facebook post on it. It was called high school skinny. I remember these being my high school numbers, and being high school skinny was just felt amazing. Being able to go into any shop. I'll never forget when the very first time that I hit my lower numbers, I went to Target and I bought a dress because I could buy stuff in Target in the plus size, but I couldn't buy the regular size in Target. Going to places like White House Black Market, places that I never would have been able to go, and I was just trying on clothes. Trying on clothes that I had never been able to wear. I go to my sister's house, so I was always the bigger sister. Now I'm all of her clothes, just trying on her stuff.
That's amazing. Now you said in your notes that you're no longer an emotional eater, and I assume you still have emotions. So what used to trigger the emotional eating, and how do you control that now?
I remember when I had that question, and I think that it's actually a journey. So I am much more aware and not so. Being an emotional eater, that just means that when your emotions arise, a lot of times your body responds by protecting you. And one way your body responds by protecting you when you're in a, when you're having a triggering situation, is to find things that comfort you. And so my body had been trained to use food that way. So if I'm having a bad day, may have been stopping at a fast food restaurant, not letting anybody at home know, but stopping there because I just had a bad day. So for me, it's just being aware of my triggers and saying, like, for me, like I said, Friday was always a trigger for me, a long work week. And so being aware of my triggers and preparing for that. So not having to, eat and eat things that are not on plan, but eating things that are on plan and understanding how do I really cope with that trigger versus leveraging food to satisfy it.
You said accountability was a big part of it. How important was it to have not just an accountability group, but a BODi partner helping you along the way?
So my BODi partner, Carmen, she lost 161 pounds on the program. So my thing is, she knows, she kept it off for 6 years. So if anybody that I'm going to listen to, and that's what she said, you listen to the people who know what they've done. And so for me, it was very important to have that accountability group. Carl, I still have an accountability group.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I also see that you use Shakeology. I drink it every morning and sort of load it up as a mid-morning breakfast. How do you use it, and what flavor is your favorite?
You know what? I'm boring. I still like chocolate. And I enjoyed it. It was a time, being a BODi partner. Also, you get that question of, oh my goodness, this shake is so expensive. What about the other shakes out there? There's really no other shake that compares. I'll tell you why. A lot of times when people are on another shake, competitive shake, they still have to take supplements. You're paying the same amount of money. And I always tell them, it's all in there. Ashwagandha, vitamin D, probiotics, like it's all in there. So the amount of money you spend on supplements, I always ask my clients, how many supplements do you buy a month? Oh, I buy 3. So that's about $90 worth of supplements and a shake. So for me, the shake was good because it also, it curbed my appetite. And it's yummy. I put bananas in it. If I don't feel like a shake, I make a mug cake with chocolate and peanut butter. Like, I just find a really fun way to get it in, but it's a superfood. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about supplements, and I know that as you lost weight, you experienced some loose skin, which seems like a perfectly acceptable consequence to avoiding type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
But you took one of our supplements, which you say actually helped your skin.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
You mean the collagen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Collagen is, and you can go anywhere on the internet and understand the importance of collagen. There's something special about the BODi collagen. And I've looked at different ones because it's concentrated. It's in that little scoop. And I find that it helped my hair. It helped reduce. So, when you lose that much weight that fast, which 10 pounds, 11 pounds a month, it's still a healthy weight loss. I'm not losing 20 pounds a month. Right. So, but because I had skin, my skin was loose, but since I've lost the weight, my skin has tightened back up. So collagen is just an important component that I still order to this day.
And you just put it in the shake?
You can't even taste it. I just scoop it in. Sometimes I put it in my Recover. Depends on what I'm feeling like.
So now you're a BODi partner also, right? Helping to pay it forward. What do you say to people who are still hesitant to get started with a BODi program or a nutrition plan? And, it's because it looks so simple to start. So something that can have this big of an effect on your life, how can it be so simple? What do you say to them?
It's simple, but it's not easy. And I always tell people, you got to learn how to have and make commitments. So a lot of people, they just want to try something new. Oh, I'm tired of this. I'm going to try something new. You got to commit to something. Learn how to commit. Commitment's not sexy, but commitment gets you the results you need. You really need. And what I mean by that is this Portion Fix, both programs are really good, but I love Portion Fix because it makes it easier for you and in the beginning. And then you can transition to the other plan, which I did also. But Portion Fix, you put it in the containers and you forget about it. until your kids start stealing your containers. Then you got to buy more.
So you've been so kind with your time, and the story's amazing. And I like to sort of get into a bit of maybe a time machine, that who you are now.
Oh,
You got all this experience. So if we go back to that emotional moment, you're sitting in the car, you're 266 pounds, you're crying after the doctor gave you this diagnosis of being pre-diabetic. What would Aisha today say to that woman in that car that day?
man, you are a lot stronger than you think. You can, you are capable of achieving anything that you put your mind to. And this is not, because that was the other problem. It's like I had achieved so much success in every area of my life, but I couldn't figure this out, Carl. This was the one component I couldn't figure out. And I would tell her that put your focus hat on, rule everything out, and for a year, do this program 100%. And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And I know you're inspiring people. You're inspiring me. So we're just grateful that it takes courage to show up and share these stories, but you have a lot to be proud of. And we're just so grateful to have you as part of the BODi family.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carl.
Yeah. And if you're sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could do that. I'll give you a secret. Wishing isn't going to do it. Aisha didn't wish, she took action. You can't act like you can make this change forever without starting with the little steps, right? So the secret, like she said, is picking a program, whether it's something like Aisha did, 21-day fix with the Portion Fix nutrition program, maybe something that's longer term, 12 weeks, like 645 is a program. Aisha also did that. Once you pick the program, you just follow it step by step. That's the beauty of what the BODi programs do. You don't have to figure it out. You just follow along step by step. And now you can get access to see what program you might want to choose. We got 120 workout samples. You download the BODi app from the App Store, or you go to BODiPreviews.com. That's BODi previews.com. And you get $60 of content free. And that's so that you can look at what programs you might consider, which program is going to speak to you. And you get all that content just by joining our email list. And then if you have a great BODi experience that you'd like to share, I want to hear it. And you can submit your story to @BODi Stories on Instagram. Again, that's @BODi, BODi Stories. And we'll take a look. Also, if you want to get updates or get special offers and announcements from me personally, you can join my little private text community by texting me at 818-650-4369 and follow the prompts, and I'll get to know you a little bit. Okay, that's it for today. You deserve your health. You deserve your self-esteem, what we call health esteem. You deserve to feel good about yourself. And every day, we want you to be excited and motivated to pursue your version of an extraordinary life. In our BODi community, people like Aisha, we're here to help you do exactly that. Thanks to Aisha. Thanks to you for joining us. And I'll see you next time on the BODi Experience.